How's everybody doing today? I'm David here at the Red Shed. I heard people were having a couple problems putting together spinners, so today I'll be doing a video on how to put together the Grande windswept Caribbean spinner. So to start off, we'll go through what you should have in your package. First, you should have two of the spinner blades. We'll have the mounting bracket for the spinner blades. And you should have 4 pieces for the stand. We have the base. We have the supporting bracket for the base. And you should have 2 middle piece with thread, top piece, a little rounded end at the top. And it should also come with 2 nuts, 2 cover nuts, 2 nut covers, and a tool, and a set of directions. So to start off, take your mounting bracket and the blades only go on one way. You'll see one side where you can see the bearing and the other side is covered. It's got a rounded edge. So this side will always go in towards the bracket. Otherwise, if you put it the other way, it will not spin. So we'll put that on there. You take the regular nut, screw that on. They do give you a wrench that I recommend. If you got a set of wrenches at home, this is a 17 millimeter. I'd recommend using your own because you can get a lot more leverage. And you want it to get as tight as possible so it will not fall apart after you put it in your yard. The wind tends to try to unscrew them. So I recommend using these and get this nut as tight as possible. Next, you'll put the cover over this nut. So it slides right on there. And then you'll use a cover nut to go over top of the nut cover. And again, wrench as tight as it can go. One side. Now we'll repeat the process on the other side. Blade, rounded side in. Normal nut. Get as tight as possible. Nut cover. And the cap nut. Tighten that down. Simple. That's the top. Then the base, bottom, then the middle will be open on one side and have a thread. That just screws together. And what I recommend for these, because this is a pretty big spinner and it spins freely on the top, I recommend using Loctite. This is probably the label is kind of rubbed off, but you can find this at any hardware store. Just rub a little on the threads before you screw it together, and then it will keep it from unscrewing itself when it's in your yard. So Loctite, you can find it at any hardware store. the last piece on for the stand, which is the rounded end on top. And same thing with these. I put the bottom two between my feet so it won't turn, and tighten them as much as you can. Last piece, the support bracket just slides right over the top, all the way down to the bottom, and then that goes in the ground. And then the top, there's a hole, slides right over top, just like that. And if you do have problems with your blades spinning, they're not spinning too well, make sure you have the blades on correctly. They only go one way. If you put them the other way, they won't spin. And then what we use, just a silicone spray. Also, you can find it at any hardware store. This is the brand we use, but you can use any silicone spray. Spray that on your bearings if they're sticking. And then also, before you put it together, look at the bearing. If there's dents at all, that'll stop the beads from inside spinning. So make sure they look all right before you assemble it all. And then, yep, spray this on there. You can use WD-40, but WD-40 evaporates or wears off very quickly. It'll get the gunk out of there, but it doesn't help it spin. This will stay on longer and help the bearings rotate longer. And another thing I recommend, because it is painted metal, we use a Rust-Oleum clear coat. They have different shades. This is a matte, but we tend to use a gloss or semi-gloss. If you spray this on the painted parts once every 6 months, it'll keep it from fading or rusting. And I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, just call the store, ask for David, and I'll try to walk you through it if you have any trouble. All right, thanks guys.